Hello, everyone. Welcome to Twisted Rides. Today, we kind of wanted to walk over the story of how we got into Japanese mini trucks. In this case, we're talking about our Subaru Sambar here and what got us started. So, really, what got us started probably 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I somehow ran across an article about Japanese mini trucks or K trucks, and I showed it to my son, and he thought they were cool. So, me wanting to always have something on the rare side or different than everybody else, I definitely thought it was cool, and so I sought out to find the rarest that I could find and afford, and that was the Subaru Sambar, supercharged with a manual 5 speed, plus air conditioning. We live in the South, so we definitely wanted air conditioning, and I definitely wanted a manual because the continuous variable transmissions suck. So, plus, I wanted my son to learn how to drive a manual. So I figured this would be a good truck for him. We could work on it together, and I could teach him how to do things, and go from there. So we went on the adventure of trying to find the right truck. First, I was looking here in the States, and I ended up finding a silver supercharged round headlight truck, and it was in New York. And I started talking to the place that had it, and we agreed on a price and so on and so forth. This was in December time, and we agreed that he was going to deliver it to me and blah blah blah. So I was getting ready to send him a deposit, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, he tells me that his business partner sold the truck from under him, even though we were working the deal. So we were both kind of heartbroken over it. I had already told him that I was buying that truck for him, and it got sold out from under us. So we went back on the journey of trying to find another one, and we ran across a group, and the group is called
Exporting all things JDM.
So it's run by a family, basically, an individual in Japan and his daughter. And I ran across that group. I joined the group, and mostly what he deals with is Hondas, Acties. And back when I found this group, it was fairly new, and he was finding some premium Honda Acties, like really made me want to get an Acti almost, because these things were, they were 92, 93, 94, 95 models, and they looked new. They were in awesome condition. The price was good. The only reason I really didn't want the Hondas were because they're mid. Excuse me, is because that they're mid-engine rather than rear engine. The rear engine's definitely easier to work on. Plus, the Hondas are 3 cylinders, which really doesn't matter. They're all the same CCs and roughly the same horsepower. Although, like I said, I wanted the supercharged model. So I talked to him, told him look for some supercharged trucks for me, and we basically came across this one that we ended up buying, and it's a 92 round headlight, and had all the boxes checked. Supercharged, manual, four-wheel drive selectable, with air conditioning. And the only bad thing was the truck wasn't local to him, so we weren't able to see the truck in person or have boots on the ground to look at the truck and to verify that it was in good condition. And so basically, he gave me the option. I could ship it to him in Japan from the location it was in Japan, and that way he could look at it and see if it was in good condition, if it ran good, all that stuff. But of course, the shipping would be on me to ship it to him. And if it wasn't, it was mine anyways, because I had to buy it before we could ship it. Clearly, so what was the point in paying for the truck, pay to ship it to him in Japan just for him to look at and tell me if it's good or not. If it wasn't good, the only option would be to try to resell it or put it on auction. But no matter what, I was pretty much stuck with it. So I decided to roll the dice, and we messaged the dealership that was selling it, and asked them if the timing belt was changed. Asked them for pictures of the undercarriage. Asked them to see the interior. Asked them to see if the air conditioning worked and things like that. What they came back and told us was everything was good. Timing belt was recently changed. It ran good, and so on and so forth. So it sounded like it was a great truck. Obviously, for some reason, all the pictures of Japanese vehicles for sale looked like they were taken on a potato cam. So basically, the pictures that we had were terrible, and we'll put them up here while we're talking. Some of these pictures of the vehicles that we attempted to buy, like the silver one, and then this one. I'll put up all the pictures of when we found it and the decision we had to make based on what we had, the information we had. So we ended up deciding to purchase the vehicle sight unseen based on the information that was provided to us from Japan. And so I think we, probably decided that on a Thursday or something like that. It was approaching the weekend. And so it was going to take a couple days for all things JDM to secure the money from me and wire the money to that dealership to pay for it. So he asked them if they would hold the truck, and they agreed not to hold the truck. So we were kind of nervous whether we were going to get it or not, because they wouldn't hold the money until Monday when he could do the transaction at the bank. But nonetheless, we were able to secure it and start the process of exporting it from Japan and importing it into the U.S. Now, of course, all this is new to me. I had no idea how to do it. This was my first JDM vehicle. And so they kind of walked us through the process, all the things JDM walked us through the process on what we're going to need to do, and recommendations on a broker and all that stuff. So it took, I don't know, it took a month or two to, or it took a couple weeks probably for the truck to actually start the process and
get to the port.
Well, yeah, then it might have taken. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll figure it out when I go through some of these pictures with you guys. But it took a few weeks probably to get to port, maybe even a month to get to port, and then it took a couple weeks to start the shipping process and get on a boat and whatnot. And we started tracking the boat coming here to the U.S., and it was going to Savannah port. So I saw at the same time there was another person that was getting a truck shipped to Savannah, and his name's Billy. So I reached out to Billy and asked him what day he was going to pick up his truck, because I was thinking maybe we could meet up and check out each other's vehicle. Actually, he wasn't getting a truck; he was getting a van, a Honda Active van. I think it was a Street.
It was.
And so I messaged him, and really didn't know who he was, and he had been in the group as well on Facebook. And it turns out he said, "Hey, I'm going there to pick up mine, and if you want, we can split the gas, and I'll trailer it to you," because he lived in North Carolina as well as as well as we did. And so I thought, well, hell, why would I not do that? Why would I not split gas with him? And he picks it up and brings it to me. Saves me 8 hours of my time driving to port and doing something that I have no idea what to do, and he's done it before. So we decided that, and just waited for it to get delivered to Savannah. And so once it did, he picked it up and drove it here to my house and dropped it off. When he dropped it off, first thing I saw was wires hanging down from the motor. a spark plug wire and random other wires. And so, it started up, but it was obviously running like crap. And I looked and I was like, man, there's not even a spark plug wire on one of these cylinders. And so I put the plug wire on there, and it was real short, like it wouldn't even reach. It wasn't the right wire. It was just obviously a wire that they found and stuck on there. So I put that on there. It was smoking like crazy, smoking like a freight train. And so, of course, right off the bat, I'm like, oh, great. What did I get myself into? It's here. I just paid all this money for this truck. Shows up at my house. It's basically a piece of crap. The wires are hanging on it. It's smoking like crap, barely running, sounds like shit. And so I knew we were in for some fun. We'll just say that. And so we obviously unloaded it off the trailer, and I just started looking at it and started doing more research and figured it probably needed valve seals. And just from it smoking. And basically, I think we did, might have been done a compression test on it, but we started basically working on the truck. And it came back that the leak, we did a leak down test on it. And I want to say that it was leaking through the valves. So we started the journey of pulling the motor apart and getting the head off. That way we could take the head to the machine shop and look at what was wrong with the valves. We got the head out, and the valves were nasty. Carbon all built up on them. You could tell this thing just basically wasn't maintained very well. It did have a new timing belt, like they said. However, it didn't run right. It didn't run good like they said. The air conditioning actually didn't work. It didn't blow cold. The compressor did work, so that was a good thing. But also, it had the wrong alternator on it and some bootleg bracket holding it on there. It was not as advertised. But that was kind of the dice I decided to roll, and I knew that could be the outcome of this purchase, is that it was crap. So we took the head to the machine shop. I bought all new valves for it, intake and exhaust valves. I bought new seals, new head gasket, another new timing belt. I didn't buy a water pump because the water pump was good and I didn't want to pull it off. And a few other things. We decided to change some silicone hoses and whatnot. So we took it to the machine shop. We got it back, clean bill of health, and we threw it back on. So also in the meantime, we ordered wheels, and we started ordering things for the truck naturally, just like anybody would do. And which that turned into wanting to replace things like all the rubber seals, things that were missing like door handles or pull handles, plus all the everything was painted this sand color that you see here on the truck. I mean, everything. It was like some of those memes you see on Facebook and whatnot, of somebody painting literally everything in red or something. And the mirrors were painted, door handles, literally everything. So we started changing some of that stuff out to add contrast to the truck. And you'll see those pictures we'll put up here while we're talking too, so you can see the pictures of what we're talking about. So we started swapping things out. We got the head put on, and we fired it up for the first time, and lo and behold, it's smoking. Smoking a bunch. And so I was like, well, let me at least go take it for a ride and see how it drives. See if it seems like it's feels better than it did before, because before it felt like it couldn't even get out of its own way. So I took it for a ride, and it felt pretty good. It drove good, and got home, pulled back in the driveway, and lo and behold, it's not smoking anymore. It completely stopped. And so I figured, well, hell, it's probably good. Maybe it just needed to seat the valves. And so we ended up taking it to a car show, and doing some driving on it, and periodically it would smoke. Just out of random times it would smoke, and then all of a sudden it would stop. So we weren't quite sure what was wrong with it. So in the meantime, we kept changing parts, adding things like gauges, and we had a nice train horn from another truck of mine, a Leslie 5 chime that I wanted to put on it, and so we started to install the train horn onto it. And we got all that installed, and it just so happens that evening was a car show. So we got the horn installed. We figured what better way than to take it out and show off the truck and show off the horn. So it was a little ways away. It was probably, 45 minutes away, this car show. And we jumped on the interstate, and we were just cruising around 90 kilometers per hour, 95 kilometers per hour. And, we were probably, 15 miles into the journey. And I thought I heard something. And wasn't quite sure. And, I'm paying attention to the RPMs. I'm paying attention to the speed. And it seemed like it was losing some power maybe a little bit. So I just barely got on the gas a little bit more, because I was thinking, well, maybe my foot's coming off the gas pedal, and I just need to give it a little bit more gas. So it wasn't but 15 seconds later, and all of a sudden, boom, it just starts knocking like crazy. I instantly shut the truck off, and we coast to the side, and I knew we blew the engine. So we were with another person that was following us, and basically, he pulled over behind us. We called a buddy with a truck and a trailer to come get it, and pushed it up on the trailer and brought it home. And we actually jumped in my CTSV to go to the car show anyways. So we just broke down Sambar and went to the car show in the CTSV. So when we came home, we started looking into it, and we found it actually had a hole in the block. So we assumed it kicked a rod through the block, which sucked, because we were planning on taking that motor and rebuilding it as a spare. Also, something I forgot is, before all this happened, I had my doubts about the motor, just because how it was, and it was still kind of smoking. So I decided to buy another motor for it. So I purchased a motor it's a new or newly refurbished, whatever, motor from Yokohama Motors in Japan. It was $3,000 shipped for another supercharged motor. It's basically just a long block with all the gaskets and cylinder head and all that stuff, valve cover, basically valve cover to oil pan, no accessories. So that had already been delivered before the motor blew up. We just never put it in yet, because we're kind of waiting till we needed to put it in. And the need to put it in wasn't kicking a rod through the block, but kind of, I don't know, I just wanted it to go downhill a little bit better than it did, rather than kicking a rod through it. So we kind of just waited for a little bit before we started, because it just so happens, through this whole process, that my son started to build a bond with the owner of all things JDM, Jamar. So he was planning on coming back to the States for a summer tour, and he said he wanted to come meet us in person, meet my son in person, see the truck, and just kind of talk to us and all that good stuff. So this was in the summer, and so we didn't want to start tearing the truck apart since he was coming. We didn't want it to be in pieces. We wanted it to be complete, even though it didn't run. And so he came, and that was a cool adventure. They my son ended up taking a ride with them on our other toys that you guys have seen on the channel, our electric razors, the MX500s that we have that we modified. So they decided they were going to go for a ride that day, and I'll let him tell the story. So basically, I let Jamar ride my bike, and Aiden was going to ride his bike. I told Jamar to be easy on the throttle. I said it's electric, so it has a lot of torque off the line, and it will throw you off of it. So he was not even down the driveway yet, and he hits the throttle and does a wheelie, which obviously he wasn't expecting. And here's a picture of that. I'll put that picture up of him doing his little wheelie that he wasn't expecting. But then I'll let Aiden fill in the story. I basically just told him to go to our normal riding spot that we take the bikes, and just let him cruise a little bit and feel the bikes, because I knew it was something he had never seen.
So we go off onto the road. We're just going slow just to get him used to it. We turn down that road, and we go down that road a little bit. Then we say we're just gonna go home. So we get to a driveway. But there's a car coming down the road. So we just decided to go in the driveway real quick to wait till the car, so then we could turn around and just follow the car back to home. And the bad thing was, here comes a pit bull chasing him and me. So I get out onto the road fine because it's my bike and I obviously know it. But he, not so much. He turns out onto the road, and I look back, and his front wheel's in the sky, and he flips himself. And turns out the pit bull didn't do anything, but still, it's a pit bull. So we were scared.
Everybody's going to run. The dog's chasing. I believe Jamar said it's time to go.
Yeah.
And he was yelling to Aiden, it's time to go. And that's when he hit the throttle and flipped off of it.
So we're just on the side of the road. The battery literally fell out of the bike. It was just a fiasco. And then the owners of the house that we pulled into the driveway of, they come outside. Oh, he's friendly. Well, we didn't know that at that moment. And they had the gate open to their front driveway so the dog could get out. So he had to pick us up in a PT Cruiser, take the bike, and I had to ride home. He had to take my dad's bike home. It was just a mess.
So we get the bike back. Well, me, his mom, his wife, and daughter.
His whole family.
Yeah, his whole family's here, and we're all like, where the hell are they? Like, we were getting ready to send out a search party because they'd been gone so long, and we're thinking, well, this can't be good. And then a car pulls up, this piece of crap PT Cruiser, and we're like, oh shit, what the hell is this? And Jamar gets out of the car, and the bike's in the back, and we're like, what the hell? His pants are tore up, and his knees bleeding, and he tells us the story. And little did we know, he was actually hurt a little bit more than he told us. So the whole time, of course, I'm upset that he's crashed. That wasn't the plan. He didn't come here to crash. And so I think at that point he was in a lot of pain and didn't tell us really. He didn't want Aiden to know that he was hurt as bad as he was. And they ended up leaving shortly after that. And it just so happens we find out that he actually broke his hand. So the bike's officially now called
Handbreaker.
Yeah, Handbreaker. So that's the bike's name, for a reason, of course. So I don't know if he likes the name, and he hates the bike. He says he will never ride anything from
us again.
I think it put the fear of electric in him, because it's definitely no joke, the bikes. But nonetheless, so it was a great time. It was good to finally meet him and see him in person, take some pictures. We'll put those up here so you can see them from the visit. And
I don't know how to respond to that.
Sorry. Let's see.
Siri keeps always messing up everything. Like, no one was talking to you, Siri.
Yeah. Plus, I wanted to make sure this video is still recorded. Anyways, so after they left, we decided to start tearing the truck apart, pull off the bed, and start to get the motor out. And that's when we saw the damage for sure. A hole in the top of the block, and we'll put up pictures of the carnage. So we get the new motor in it, and it took it took a couple days. I'll have to look back at the dates of the pictures, but I'll put up some pictures of the process of us putting the motor back in. We put a new clutch in it, hoses. We decided to take the time to powder coat some stuff and go from there. We break in the motor, we do everything by the book, and I was using Royal Purple break-in oil. We go through that whole process, and we get a couple thousand kilometers on it, and I think maybe got about 6,000 kilometers on it. And I decided I was going to send out an oil sample to Blackstone Labs to see how the oil came back, if it looked good, and send it to them. And the results come back that there's a bunch of metal in the oil, and it's from the rings and the cylinder liners. So it had elevated iron and chrome. So basically, they said it was cylinder liners and rings. About the same time, shortly after I got those results back from them, I started noticing it was consuming oil. And, we were running synthetic, so it really wasn't burning oil. You didn't see it smoking. It was burning it, but you didn't see it smoking, and you really didn't smell it or anything. And we obviously got a little aggravated and a little sad. I mean, basically, we bought this truck. It was kind of a turd. No fault to all things JDM. He just found the truck for me, and he never saw the truck in person until he actually came back to the U.S. and saw it in person. He was basically just brokering the deal for me, and then we put a brand new $3,000 motor in it, and now it's coming back that it's got issues. So we ran it for another 1,000 kilometers. So we got about 7,000 kilometers on it, and I sent another oil sample out, and it comes back a little bit better, but that's only because the first sample had 5,000 kilometers, and the second sample only had 1,000 kilometers. So ideally, of course, it's going to come back with less metal content in it, but it was consuming a bunch of oil. I mean, in 100 miles, it was using a quart, basically, a quart of oil. And it only holds, 3.5 quarts. So it's burning a lot of oil.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're not getting rid of the truck. We've already done so much to it.
We're too far in.
Yeah, we're too far into the project. We like the truck. We don't want to get rid of it. Plus, as much money as we have in it, we're never going to get money back out of it with it being broke. Or, it's not broke. It still runs, but it's clearly got issues. So we decide we're going to have to pull the motor again, and for round 2, and go through more of a process. It's been a long couple years that we've had with the truck, but we're at the point now where I think that we're ready to continue. We've worked through some other projects I had on other vehicles, and so we're wanting to get it painted now, and we've picked out a color, and I'll let Aiden tell you that stuff here in a second, what his plan is for it. But we decided we're gonna repowder coat some stuff, pull some more stuff apart. Basically, last time we were kind of in a rush when we put the new motor in it, just because we really didn't have a whole lot of time to enjoy the truck, and we just wanted to get a motor in there and enjoy it. Plus, it was middle of July, it was burning hot, and we just wanted to get the project done kind of as quick as we could. This time we're going to go a little bit slower. We've taken a lot more stuff apart. We're doing a lot of different things this time, and learning from some of the mistakes. And so I'll let Aiden tell you what the plan is from here. So at this point, we have it torn apart, and like I said, we're about ready for paint. Stuff's at the powder coater, all that stuff. I'll let him kick in from here.
So we're pretty much at the point of just wanting to go all in, just do everything, interior, paint. So we're getting stuff repowder coated, different colors, stuff we didn't powder coat last time because we didn't take it apart last time as in depth as we did this time. So getting it different colors, we're planning on painting it.
And what color is that?
We're planning on painting it Midnight Purple 3. So I think that should be a showstopper there.
Yeah, it's obviously it's a more expensive paint, and obviously it's not a Nissan that we have here, although it's going to be unique, and we want it to be unique. So we have been talking to a shop that's done some paint work for us in the past, and seeing if he wants to take on the project, and we're hoping he does. In the process of that, we've also done a bed liner in it. We've just been trying to get some stuff done, so I'm just gonna scroll some of these pictures up on the screen while we're talking about it. But as Aiden said, we're gonna go with Midnight Purple. We got powder coat picked out. We got the parts of the powder coater. I don't know if you remember the powder coat.
It's called Carlton Violet.
Yeah.
We're hoping it. You can't really tell from the pictures on the website, Prismatic Powders. The pictures aren't always the greatest, but we're hoping that it's going to be like a black with like a purple metallic in it, which should go well with the Midnight Purple theme.
Yeah. Some of the stuff that we powder coated last time, originally we were wanting to go with more of a STI theme, and but there's already been a couple World Rally Blue Sambars out there, and so we don't want to do a World Rally Blue. We did, but we don't now because there's already been a couple that have been done in it. So I've had several STIs in the past, hence the reason why the Sambar now runs the plate slow STI, which is fitting for it. The STI it came off of wasn't slow, but we called it the slow STI. It was actually 606 all-wheel horsepower. It was a closed deck block, out front motors, closed deck block with a 62, 66 turbo, and ran on Q16. But I'll probably throw up a link to that on another channel of mine, so you guys can see that, just what we're talking about. But off topic. Anyway, so we're doing the Carlton or whatever it is.
Carlton Violet.
Carl, I can't even talk. So
Yeah.
what is it?
Carlton Violet.
Yeah, that. And you do a black base coat, and then you do the violet on top of that. And so that's what we're going with. We're hoping to be able to take this to the painter at some point, and we know it's not going to be an overnight process. And we're going to fill you guys in, and we're going to continue to show you the updates of the truck. But like I said, we kind of wanted to fill you in from how we got into this project and what brought us into it to where we're at today, and where we're going with it. That way you guys can follow us in the process and ask questions on the things that we've been through, what we've learned, what we haven't learned, what we would do again. If you're interested in purchasing a vehicle from Japan, we definitely recommend All Things JDM, or exporting All Things JDM. He has a lot of vehicles on hand always that he can get you pictures of or videos, and he sends that stuff. He posted on his YouTube channel, exporting All Things JDM, and maybe you won't have to purchase something sight unseen like us. And you know, if you're looking for something special, he can definitely get you anything and everything that you could possibly want. But you know, we're going to continue to follow this project here and keep you guys posted. And hopefully, this year, 2024, will be a good year for the Sambar. Hopefully, we'll have a good motor in it. Hopefully, it'll be a unique paint job, unique interior. Hopefully, it'll be a showstopper. But we'll see, and we'll keep you guys posted. And I'm gonna, like I said throughout the video, I'm gonna put up some pictures, but I'm gonna put up some pictures here at the end for you guys to look at of the whole process and where we've gone with this and where we're going. But yeah, basically, stay tuned and like and subscribe. Hopefully, you guys like what we're doing and see some value in what we've done and where we're going with the project. Anything else you want to say?
I don't think so.
Alrighty.
So thank you for watching, and this is Twisted Rides.
Yep. Thank you.